Separate the real from the fake. See, we got to get back to love. If we get back to love, then that's when we're going to get back to us.
It seems like it's never enough. And what do you say when you're...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of People Empowerment, where we would strive to change the conditions in our community. I am Nate Boyd. I am your host, and I am the people's advocate, always striving to do the business of the community. Today is going to be another very special episode of People Empowerment, where we are going to question what's going on in our community. Today, I have two very, very special guests here. I have Ann Paris here, Pastor Ann Paris, who is the executive director of Paradise House. Also, I have one of the residents staying at Paradise House, Miss Bertha. So how are you ladies today?
We're great. I'm blessed.
Oh, it's my pleasure to have you guys here. Awesome. It's my pleasure to have you guys here today. I got to tell you, we had some serious conversations about what's going on down at Paradise House. We're going to get right into it. We're going to have a very serious conversation today. And hopefully, the information and the knowledge that we share here today can go out to the public, and perhaps some of these issues can get addressed. Because just as we speaking to the public, we are also speaking to the powers that be, to the Erie County Executive, to Crystal Peoples, legislator, to Tim Kennedy, our senator in Erie County, to the whole Erie County legislature. This is a cry out for help. So, Ann, I'd like to talk about Paradise House. So could you just tell us a little bit about Paradise House quickly, please?
All right. Paradise House has been functioning for 20 years, more than 20 years now. And we have been bringing women from the holding center, from Albion Correctional Facility, from Taconic, from other holding centers, and from the Erie
County Holding Center?
County facility out in Alden,
okay, Alden,
as well as the holding center right downtown in Buffalo. We've been bringing them through the courts program. We work very closely with Judge Russell to bring these women to a place where they're going to have a program, where they're going to get over their addiction to constant drug use, selling their bodies on the street, to living in conditions that are really unlivable. You have to be getting high every day to live in a vacant house, unheated, or in a crowded cell in the holding center.
That's what they've been going through.
Yes, and they've come up with illnesses after a while, like hypertension, diabetes, glaucoma, and their lives are in total disrepair. They're being destroyed, and their children have been taken from them. Most of them are mothers. Their children have been taken from them and put in foster care. They don't have contact with these children anymore. The children are possibly suffering, knowing that their mother is incarcerated.
And what does Paradise House do for them?
Well, we bring them to a whole new life. A beautiful
What do you mean?
rectory that used to be a place where priests lived, who taught in the high schools. It's a beautiful building. And I've gotten over $2 million I've been given that. I know God cares about the women because I know it's been able to function for 20 years in spite of everything that's happened with Department of Social Services, with the money. But I've been able to raise over $2 million, which has helped to keep the home going.
Okay, now to talk about that home. Now, Erie County right now, they funds for each woman in your facility. They have a funding of, what is it, $495 per month?
Right now, yes. For the last year and a half, it's been $495.
And what does that add up to per day?
That's $1,650 per day.
Okay, now let's
which isn't enough. We are going into debt, and every day, because of the raising of the costs of everything, the gas, the electric, the water, And then not only do we have them there at the house, this house that can have 16 women at a time, but we have apartments down the street.
Okay, now let's just talk about this $495 a month, and it evens out to $1650 per day, right?
Yes.
Now that's what you're getting right. What they're getting right now. Now the reason that you're here is because you were telling me about some cuts that are about to take place.
Yes.
Now tell me about those cuts that are about to take place, please.
Well, I asked for an increase from Erie County Department of Social Services, who pays the rent. I asked them to raise it to about $1,000 a month, because the staff have to be paid. And these are CASACs.
Okay.
They have to be trained, properly trained, to take care of women who are just coming out of jail or prison, who've been living on the street,
Okay.
haven't been taking care of themselves. They've got to have these qualifications, and they're very dedicated
Okay.
women who are the managers in the house. And $495 per woman just doesn't cover our bills. We're going into debt.
So you're telling me right now at $495, it really doesn't cover your bills as it is.
That's right. And then when
Now-
I asked for this $1,000, they cut it down.
Now, as of April 1st, it's going to be reduced even more. Is that correct?
Yes,
And it's going to go from $495 to what?
$169, please.
Okay, so that's $169 a month per lady, per woman in the facility?
Yes.
And that averages to what a daily?
$5.60.
$5.60. And already they can't, you're saying that you're barely making it on $16.50 per day per woman. And now that it's being broken down even more as of April 1st to $5.60? It sounds like a tragedy.
It sounds like a forced closure. If once they close down Paradise House and the other houses for women, they'll be able to build more prisons, because the women will go back to prison.
Well, you know what? We're gonna get into that in a minute, because that's very serious. We have to touch that. But, and speaking of prison, since you brought it up, let's talk about the Erie County Holding Center.
Yes.
Now there's a
Glad to.
charge per day for them to keep an individual locked up, a woman locked up in that facility. And I see you've done some research, and you came up with a figure for the cost of that incarceration per day. And what was it?
$175.
Now let me get this straight. Erie County is paying the jail $175 per day
Per
to
woman.
house and incarcerate these women?
To help
Per day.
for one woman.
Now, $175 per day versus $16.50 per day, right?
$16.15.
Okay, now let's talk about the correlation to the people of how this correlates, okay? Because a lot of people say, okay, well, how do the two go together? Okay, well, the issue is that you were trying to tell me, B, is that you say to me that if this house is not here for the women, what's going to happen? Talk to me.
Then
for a
crime picks up. If we don't have that house, see, to me, it's like this. If we don't have that house to help us, we go to jail. We don't get the help we need, because some of us women don't have the capacity to think straight, because the drugs has messed us up mentally.
Okay.
So jails, they don't help us mentally, but our house do.
Okay.
Jails don't help us spiritually, but our house do.
Paradise House does.
Yes. Paradise House, we have our own church. We can go to outside churches. In jail, they don't have church. They might have a Bible study, but for women, they don't have church. You know what I mean? And they don't have the mental capacity to help us mentally, because drugs, as everybody knows, the commercial goes, they show the egg frying in the pan. That's our brains. And some of us is messed up more than others.
So what are you saying? That you're saying that you need Paradise House?
Yes, I need Paradise House, because I need it for more than just the mental. I need it for the spiritual. Because, see, when I was on the streets, I didn't know anything about God. God was not in my line of duty. God was not important. But when I came into recovery, Miss Ann made us go to church. She made us realize that you can't do this thing by yourself. You have to have the spiritual aspects of this too.
Right.
So now all that combined, the mental, the spiritual, all of this is our foundation. The Paradise House is in the heart of the east side of Buffalo.
So not to cut in. So What would happen to the ladies if Paradise House was there no longer, if it had to close down?
2 out of 3, most of us is gonna go back to what we know,
Which,
and that's the street life.
which would lead to?
To crimes,
And-
that would lead to overflow in the jail system. That's gonna. Why would y'all pay $175 for us, and y'all can pay $16.50? Most of us do turn out to be productive members of society. We get our jobs. I don't want to pay nobody no $175 when I can pay a house of $16. That don't make sense to me.
Right. So now let's look at it. Let's look at it. So now in April they're going to reduce your money. There's very much possibility that the facility could close because you can't function off of $560 per woman per day. Some of these women, most of these women, if not all of them, will wind up returning back to the streets in their old ways and eventually wind up back in jail.
Or dead.
Or dead.
A number of women have dead who are dead who went back out to drug using.
But just to
and
finish my thought,
prostitution.
so they would fall back to that, and then it would
Excuse
wind
me?
up causing, that's all right, and then it would wind up costing Erie County $175 per day, when right now they could keep your facility open for $16.50 a day. Is that what you're telling us? Is that what you're telling the people?
I'm
That's
telling
what we
you.
telling
I'm
the
telling
people.
that's what you're going to be paying. You're going to be paying $175 each day for each woman that's put out of Paradise House and goes back to jail. And most of them, I'm afraid, will go back to their old life because it offers them the security of something they already know.
A familiar.
So now-
something familiar.
So now, now is the time where we speak truth to power. See, this is the point, because Ann Paris has came here with the truth. And the power, who is the power? The Erie County Executive, Mr. Polenkars, Democrat, good man. That's the power. Crystal People, Legislature Crystal Peoples, that's the power. Senator Tim Kennedy, that's the power.
And I've gone to these people.
And you've gone to these people.
Yes.
And with some success, I hope?
Well, so far, they're saying they'll look into it. You'll look into it, but all these women, meanwhile, are in danger.
When's the last time you spoke with any of these individuals?
About a month ago.
And they haven't got back to you yet? So they don't realize
Not with
the urgency?
anything that I would
Concrete.
say is effective.
And let me ask you something, Ann.
Yes.
Do you think that the Erie County Executive, Mr. Polenkars, could stop this or change this? Do you believe that it's in his power? Because I don't know personally. Do you believe it's in his power to stop this?
Yes, I do. I think that his speaking on our behalf could change things.
Okay, well,
I think that's why we've elected him, because we thought he cared about people who were disadvantaged. We thought that he had,
of course I voted for him.
I thought he had a moderate and sympathetic attitude
Well, Mr.
towards
Polenkars,
people who are poor.
Mr. Polenkars, we're clearly asking you. Ann Paris from the Paradise House is asking you. The people that live in the Paradise are asking you, do you care about them?
Yes.
Do you care about the citizens? Do you care about these women who need this help? Do you care about Paradise House and what it's doing for the women and what's going to happen if it closes? Mr. Polenkars, is it possible we can get a response from you? Can Nate Boyd, the people's advocate, sitting here at this table advocating for the people and what's right and justice, can I get a response from you, sir?
Can I say something?
Certainly.
All right, Mr. Polenkars, please show us that you have a heart for the women of Erie County, that you have their best interests close to your heart.
You know, Ann, recently I had Senator Tim Kennedy on the show, and he talked a lot about the things that he was doing in the community.
Yes.
He is the senator for this district.
Yes.
I would also like for you to reach in, to look at the television, and to speak to Mr. Kennedy about this situation and what he could possibly do to help the women in Paradise House. Is there something he can do?
Yes, he can be a bulwark against the closing of Paradise House. He can keep that house open. He has the possibility of speaking to the legislature about giving the money that's needed to support women outside of the prison.
You know what? That's very important. Senator Kennedy, good friend of mine, I hope that you're listening. We do believe in you, and we hope that you will extend yourself and try to address this issue. That is what we elected you for, to represent the people, you guys. We hope you're listening. We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back on People Empowerment. Until then, don't change that channel. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention.
Very impressive, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you. Thought he was pretty good.
I think we've got enough color around here. 2 points. And who's next?
You drop this.
Imagine the power of one voice. Find yours at freedomcenter.org.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with People Empowerment. I am Nate Boyd, the host, the People's Advocate. I would tell you, I would instruct you, go to the website. Go to peopleempowerment.apollomediacenter.com. Register your support for what's going on. Register your thoughts on this issue. Tell us what you're thinking. If there's someone out there that can help us, that can help Ann Paris, Paradise House, contact us. Contact me, contact Ann Paris, but make your voice be heard. Let's act as a village. And as a village, let's get back to the issues of the village. Now, when we broke off, the last thing we said was, Senator Tim Kennedy, can you help? Can you hear the cry, the plea of the people? So now, if you don't mind, I call you B. Is that all right, B?
Yes, that's
Miss
fine.
B? Miss B, I want Miss B for a minute to just tell you about what she's been going through, her personal ride. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. If you could just, briefly, I know it's a big story, but if you could just condense it and tell people where you've been, what you done went through, and where you're at now.
Okay, my name is Bertha. On the 17th of this month, I have 9 months clean.
Amen.
When I came to the Paradise House, I came out of jail and went to the Paradise House. It wasn't by force, it was by choice, because I was the one that sit there and waited on Little Deb to pick me up. I could have ran, but I decided there was time for me to change my life over. I'm getting too old to keep running up and down Broadway because I'm from the East Side. So I know about the Paradise House inside and out. And that was one house that I stayed away from because I know what was going on in there. And at that time, I wasn't ready to go in there. When I decided to finally come in there, I came in there toe up. I didn't have on but one outfit, and that was the outfit that I wore to jail. Stayed in jail for 3 months. As you hear, I got 9 months clean. But when I came in, I didn't have a spiritual side of me. I wanted to work my recovery because I thought I had the power,
Yeah.
And I realized that I ain't have no power, that God had the power.
Amen.
And as long as I follow his way, that I can stay clean.
Come on.
And by me finding God, I found God through Miss Ann. Going to church on Sundays, people coming in, Miss Ann preaching to us, some start clicking. And I'm like, well, maybe it is another way to live besides the way I've been living. But I wouldn't have been able to think of that if I hadn't thought about Miss Ann's house. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to say what I want to say. But how about this? Miss Ann, I'm so grateful for you to open up the Paradise House for a woman like me. Because if it wasn't for you, I don't think I'd still be alive right now. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
And when you came, just to show, I really, really loved you and wanted you to get this thing this time.
Yes.
And stay in
Yeah,
a
you
whole
did.
in a whole clean life and a new life and a transformed life. It kept you there for 45 days without any money coming from anywhere.
Without any money.
That's right.
She took me to the store, bought me socks, bought me underclothes. Then she told me, she said, I'm gonna put you in charge of the clothing room. How about now I have enough clothes to probably not wear the same outfit for 30 days.
Amen.
And I came in there with one outfit on.
So,
She made sure I went to the dentist. She made sure, as y'all can see, I got glasses.
how long you been in Paradise House?
6 months.
And in 6 months, you've changed
I
from night to
did
day.
a whole
A 360.
Yep.
Hallelujah,
I wear
amen.
skirts to church.
And Ann Paris
I'm so
was the
proud of-
catalyst for this change.
Yes,
I'm
this
so
is
proud. I'm not. I really am not, and I won't take that because I know I'm a regular person and that God cares about the women, and that's why all this is happening.
But you know
Nothing
that-
I could do would bring the money in, and nothing would keep it going if God didn't want this. And I believe that God does. We're in
But
God's
God works through people, and you are a work in progress. And I don't think the people of Buffalo gonna let you lose your house.
Oh,
You know,
please.
You know, this is very
can't even
emotional to me. Sometimes I hate to get emotional. God done did this thing to me where sometimes I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I hate that. So, but this is an emotional moment because people need to understand that it's all about love. And if we can get back to love, we get back to us. What the Paradise House offers the women is love,
That's
a
it.
foundation.
That's it, a foundation.
When these reductions come from the county and this money is cut off, it sounds like to me Paradise House won't be able to last.
They're gonna snatch our foundation.
You know.
They're gonna snatch the foundation of the east side.
I understand from Ann that there's already calls coming in from people trying to buy the building right out from under you. What
You
gonna
can
do
just
with it?
forget that because the building is going to stay there. We're going to hold on to it. I don't know how, but God does know how.
Yes, he do.
You know, I see that your faith in God is strong, and so is mine. That's why I'm here. And I believe that God can do it. But a lot of times God does things through men, through the ministry of men's hands, men's voices, men's touch. And so again, that's why we reach out to the powers that be. We speak in truth to power. The truth is Paradise House needs your help.
Yes, we do.
Power, sources of power, people of power, city leaders.
Yeah.
If anybody's being touched by what they're hearing and this conversation, I want you to call your representatives.
That's it. Now what's
Call
going to
Mr.
happen?
Poloncarz,
That's right.
county executive. He needs to hear that you want this place to stay.
That you want him to help these people. Now, they already told you what's going to happen if they get no help. Paradise House going to wind up closing. A lot of the women going to wind up returning to the streets, turning to their old ways, and end up back in jail. Where now, instead of it costing the county $16.50, it's going to cost the county $175 every day. It's going to cost the county over $5,000 a month to keep them in the holding center. It's going to cost the county over $64,000 a year.
Exactly.
Whereas, what's that figure that you put down there that would cost to stay at the Paradise House for a year?
A little over 2,000.
No, it was 5,000 a year. A year, yeah, that's what it is. It was 5,000. I believe we added up. It was about a little over $5,000.
Oh, well, right now.
For a year.
Yes.
Right now.
Right now. But
Right
it's
now.
going to go down to a little over 2,000.
Well, yeah, and you guys won't be able to sustain that.
No.
Per woman for 2,000.
No, it has
So-
to. It has to. It
And
has to be
also,
more than that.
and also, we need to say to the people that are looking at this, to the private entities, anybody out there, any private organization, you see the need, reach out and help these people. All you well-to-do, wealthy people in the city of Buffalo, reach out and help these people. You know, the Democratic Party used to be the party of the people. It used to be the party of the poor. But now you never hear Democrats talk about the poor no more. You hardly hear them talk about the working poor no more, as though these people don't matter, as though the poor people don't matter. But the only way to reach from poorness and into prosperity is by the help of the people that are already at the top. So I would ask you wholeheartedly, help Paradise House. Anybody that can. Reach out anybody that can. Call Mr. Poloncarz. Call your legislature. Call Tim Kennedy's office. Call everybody that can help Paradise House remain open. And whoever, again, who is it that we believe that can stop this reduction right now? We believe that if Mr. Poloncarz were to spearhead this effort, that he could stop this before it happens.
Yes.
Because ultimately it's going to wind up costing the county $175 per day for all of these women when they wind up returning back to the streets and back to jail. When they could continue paying $16.50 a day, and you would have a lovely, viable place where women can rehab themselves and also find God.
I'm afraid that's not true. We need to have 12,000 a year, not 5,000.
Wow.
We need 12,000 in order to keep going because the prices are going up to reduce the amount they pay for each woman per month.
You also talked about the debt that you were in.
Instead of raising it to what we really need.
You also talked about the debt that you were in
Yes.
right now, that the organization is in from not having enough money.
Yes.
Could you share that with the public? Maybe somebody wants to help pretty quickly. I mean, is anybody out there that can help with this paradise, with this debt that's going on?
$30,000 would clear us.
$30,000 would clear you. Now, I know for a fact that right now out there in TV land, there's someone sitting out there that has $30,000 right now that they could use to help these people. I know right now there's someone watching that could just write a check and it wouldn't even bother your account. And you could do something good to help these women. Women, the seed of the earth, the salt of the earth. Without the women, we perish. They say behind every good man there's a good woman. Well, I would say to you that there are good women in the Paradise House.
They're beautiful women.
That we could
Look at
build, that we could bring
Bertha.
back. Of course she is. And so that's why, that we're here on this show, People Empowerment. That's why we do these shows where we address the issues of the community. This is a community issue, Ann. You guys are the community. And you have created a pillar, a foundation in the community.
So have other women who are holding houses like this, opening houses
Certainly.
like this
Casa
to
de
women.
Vida
Yes.
and other houses such
now,
as
the
Lifetime.
houses for men are plenty, but the houses
Really?
for women, there aren't very many. We have to turn away
It's a shame, man.
at least one woman every day. We just don't have the room for her.
I really hope the public is paying attention. I really hope that they see what's going on.
The need.
The need. God said the need. If there was a need and if there was people of God, that they would feel the need. Well, I would say people of God, man of God, woman of God, leaders of God. You hear the need. You hear the passion in these women. You hear them saying, help us. Help us that we may help ourselves. Now, who out there can have it in their pocket, the ability to help, and would sit there and just look at this issue and not help it, not reach in their pocket to effectuate change? Who would do that? And we only got a couple minutes left here, okay? But I would like you to say what you need to say to the people. I got 2 minutes. I'm gonna give you one of them. Look in the camera and just tell the people what you need to say, hon.
Well, for 20 years, Paradise House has been a place where miracles occur. You'll see a woman coming totally destitute and run down and hating herself. And then she'll be, after a few weeks even, you'll see a beautiful woman emerging. The beautiful woman that used to be a pretty little girl running around her mother's house, getting into everything. You'll see her coming back, her spirit regrowing. This is what God does with us when we turn ourselves over. And we can't turn ourselves over if we are not having our basic needs met. Paradise House does more than meet our basic physical needs. It meets the emotional and spiritual needs as well. And we have been blessed until we've had to come on these hard times. I think a lot of people are coming on these hard times. I think the attitude of our leaders, the people we elect to help us, is that times are hard. We've got to cut. And that's what I've been told. Cut.
Ann, I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you coming in here, you guys, and sharing your story, because it's very important. Now the public knows. Now you know the need. You know what's going on in the community. Like I said before, I'm Nate Boyd. I'm the people's advocate. I advocate for what's right for the people, and I put the people beyond myself. And this is what we're asking you to do. We're asking everybody out there that has feelings, everybody out there that has a heart, everybody out there that is concerned about the right thing being done and is concerned about justice, then help Paradise House. Feel the need, see the need, reach out. But most importantly, pay attention to what's going on in this city. This is Nate Boyd from People Empowerment telling you, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.